In this video we're going to be doing a timing belt change on the Perodua Kenari, but also we are saying goodbye to a fleet member. More on that later. Well, hello everyone and welcome to another hub nut video, where this time we are replacing the timing belt on Desmond the Perodua Kenari. It's a bit of a theme at the moment. The Subaru's away having a timing belt fitted by some actual professionals, but Desmond is a cheap car and so we are doing the work ourselves. Now fundamentally the same engine as in Show Me the Charade up the back there. I've done that timing belt, but that was made a lot easier because at the time the engine was not in the car.
However, it has to be said, Shemi's engine bay is much smaller, so there is, oh, these are probably famous last words, there is room to reach down there. Was that fella just cutting off? No. No?
No, it was the digger.
Oh, okay. So yes, we had the advantage of having the engine out of Shemi, but there is a lot more room for manoeuvres around this engine than there is in Shemi.
Believe it or not.
You can actually get a hand down there.
We'll get this
Don't
little
do it
pipe
just
off.
yet. Let it cool down a little bit.
It is quite warm in there.
But this will be interesting, actually.
Yeah, so it should be a standard process. We get this off. I think we can get the top cover off. I think to get the bottom cover off, you've got to get the engine mount out of the way. But actually, I'm looking at it. I'm not sure whether you do. Probably have to get this pulley off, I seem to recall. Now
this is not YouTuber drama, but this car does need to go to Rustable.
Oh, we'll lose the shop.
Or I'll have to drive Bella and you'll have to find
we have workarounds
for the Subaru, etc.
We have workarounds, but yes. Ideally we want this one to just work.
Another quick aside, we've got a rusty slam panel here. Again, it's due to the foam. It's a horrible design.
We should just rip that off.
We should rip that off.
Yeah. Maybe we can fit some, well, it's got rubber bungs as well. So maybe that's just to try and reduce, I don't know what that's for.
Gathering moisture.
Gathering moisture. Yeah, we might just rip that off. We did that on my old Perodua, and I think Shemi as well.
I don't think Shemi had it. I think it had mostly come off.
Yeah, but just to recap, Desmond is a Perodua Kenari, which is a Daihatsu Move L900, but made in Malaysia. So it's the second generation Daihatsu Move, effectively. It is pure Daihatsu, just Malaysian.
Yeah, it's the previous generation. It's the EJ-VE engine.
Well, yeah, technically it's the same engine as your Charade, but it's an earlier evolution of it. So we've got twin cams, a variable valve timing, but much less plastic. Look, the inlet manifold's actually made of metal.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that would be so much more fun.
Yeah, and is therefore rusting.
Yeah, we do have work to do on this car, but for now, it's this time about to get Desmond to Rustable.
Yep, and we've got to get the bottom pulley off as well. That's going to be fun and games. But let's jump into it and actually do stuff.
Let's go.
Well, actually, this job may be easier than I thought because we haven't got a top engine mount in the way over here. So this will be, quite a lot easier, I think. I can see a hole in the inner wing down there to get onto the crank pulley bolt. So maybe we should have a go at that before we get too involved.
Hang on a minute, did you say, oh, I think this is going to be easier than I thought?
Yeah.
Why would you say that at this point?
Piece of cake.
Oh, we're doomed. 10
hours later. Our crankshaft pulley is proving a bit of an arse. Miss Hubnut is leaning. I've had to take the starter motor out, that's fun. And Miss Hubnut is now trying to stop the starter motor turning.
Ouch.
Without success.
It's quite difficult because there's little teeth that are quite shallow.
Yeah, horrendous. Doesn't help, I'm on 2 extensions to get all the way in on the pulley at the moment.
Well, people can see what I'm able to do as well, so
yeah.
I don't know how much what's it I've got on that, but do you want to try? Oh, no.
No. Right, take 604.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's the nut.
Huh?
That's the nut, I think.
Oh, did it crack?
Yeah.
Oh, bum.
No, it hasn't cracked.
Oh, as
that's
in...
it. Cracking is in releasing.
Release.
Let's try the... leave it in there.
Oh, good. I don't...
Yeah.
It may not have a choice. It may be wedged.
Okay. Violence.
Yay!
I should be able to grab the bottom pulley and pull the engine back a bit. There you go.
Shall I unwedge?
Yep.
Hang on then. Hang on. Otherwise you're not going to be able to move it. There you go. Ooh.
Beautiful.
Just simple as that.
Yeah, simple. Now we've still got to get the alternator belt off. We can't really access that, but it might be easier now.
Small hands.
And then we should be able to get the crank pulley off. Might have to get the water pump pulley off, I seem to remember. It's all good fun. Next issue is someone forgot to undo the water pump bolts on the pulley, and that'd be a lot easier if the engine was locked. Someone.
Ooh, okay.
Don't know who. No idea.
Right, hang on a moment then. Let me see if I can refine that position. That was perfect.
Yeah, I'm not putting as much force on for these because they're only little 10 mils.
Right.
I think we're actually have I already taken too much tension off that belt.
I'm not fighting now.
After about 14 days, I've got the cover off. There's a lovely bit of mastic around it. Looks like it's cracked slightly there. That's fine.
Really helpful.
That's fine. That's great. So now I can show you the belt. So excuse any heavy breathing in the background, but Miss Hubner...
Oh, God. I realised I've got a mic on.
Yeah, still mic'd up. Let's...
In case you're wondering, folks, I am cleaning Desmond because optimistically I'm 100% sure this car is going to Brustable.
Yep. So there we go. We've got tensioner, we've got water pump, we've got the cam belt, but I fear our time is up today because we need to go and collect the Subaru. You got to drive Bella?
Yes.
We are back for more. Yay. I need to get some new belts though, because this is the alternator belt and the water pump. That might explain why we get a bit of a strange noise from it on occasion. That has, yeah, that's done its time. I think we've been quite lucky to catch that. So I have to acquire belts, a fairly standard thing, so hopefully not too difficult to acquire. But while I get stuck in to the Kenari today, Miss Hubnut is trying to beautify Bella ready for Rustable. So neither of our cars are ready. Bella is absolutely disgusting, and
I'm just trying to make her stink less.
She does stink.
I don't know if it's about lovely, stink less.
I think we need to get rid of that bit of carpet.
Yeah,
bit of carpet in the boot.
Desmond how nice a clean Desmond is?
No, let's go and have a look. So yeah, as well as assisting me with the mechanical job, Miss Hubner has been cleaning Desmond up, and all very nice. The mats are out because they were being hoovered. They're not back in yet. The seats are still a little grubby, but much better than they were. Still see some dirt, but we haven't got enough dry weather ahead of Rustable to get the Bissell out and give the seats a good cleaning, but looking much better. And so my next job today, I'm going to try and remember to put gloves on for a change. Water pump needs to come out. It looks quite similar to the one I've got in the box, so hopefully we're all right there. When you order it, box.
I was going to say.
Bob? I haven't got a water pump in Bob. I mean, Bob has got a water pump. We've just never used Bob's water system. But I think it's going to be my old favourite, the old 10mm again today. My favourite tool that someone sent me. It's a screwdriver that can also go straight like that. I love it. It's an absolute favourite item. Right. Try not to flash my bum crack at the world. So we did get the Subaru back yesterday. That was nice. There'll be a report coming on that, explaining what happened, what the condition of everything was, because that timing belt was about 18 years overdue, if not more. Is that a different size bolt on the underside? That feels more like a 12. If there was ever going to be a catastrophic moment and a torrent of water, this is the time. Oh, that's quite healthy there. That likes it. Get a violent stick. Come on. Is that another bolt? It is another bolt. Okay. That's why the violent stick isn't working. Well, Desmond has definitely had one timing belt in his life because someone's made the mark more visible. There's a little dot there that someone has covered in yellow to make it more visible. So we need to get that up to the top really. And that will, yeah, that will give us our timing marks. I'm trying to work out if I have to get that tensioner out down there. That tensioner, no, that's the water pump. That tensioner there to get the water pump out. So at least I've got the new water pump here so I can look at what's in the way of it. It's a huge casting, isn't it? So the pump actually goes in like this. So it kind of makes up almost the entire end of the engine at this point. So that is part of the water pump, this little bracket here. So yeah, we're going to have to get everything else off that's in the way of it, I think. So let's rotate the engine, get it timed up, and then we can work from there. At this point, someone took his hoodie off and left the microphone attached to it, but this is the timing belt. Still see some of the markings on it, but it's looking like it's probably had enough life. I was looking for cracks or any sign of wear, but there wasn't really anything of that nature. It just looked like a fairly tired belt. They very rarely show signs of failing spectacularly before they actually do. But here we go. I'll show you between the ribs, and yeah, there's just nothing going on really. It's just a belt. So into the scrap pile with that, and then I resume my battle with a water pump. Now the problem here is it's not really designed to be replaced, or certainly not all of it, but I'm yet to discover that. So here I go pondering. Now what I was discovering is this entire casting is pinned under the cylinder head, so you have to take the entire cylinder head. So in theory you could remove just that little bit of pump that I was just twiddling, because you see that's where the inlet goes into the cylinder head. So you can unbolt the pump here, but when we tried doing that we found it wouldn't release, so it was very, very severely bonded into place. So we had to work out what to do next. Throw it in the bin. So yeah, what we actually decided is this won't come apart. I tested the feel of the pump inside the car, it seemed alright, so we're not going to fit it. This is just a short clip in the wrong format, just showing you where the bottom timing mark is. There you can see everything lined up. So an essential part of any timing belt change is once you've got the belt, the new tensioner, and in this case the old water pump, all in place, you turn it over by hand just to make sure that nothing is hitting anything else. So you're checking the timing. It's quite hard. I should have taken the spark plugs out because I was fighting the compression of the engine, but I spun the engine over a few times and nothing hit anything else, so that was good. Well, I've just discovered that most of what I've talked through this afternoon is ruined because my microphone was still attached to my hoodie, which I took off pretty much at the start of today. So that's great, it's gone well. Let's show you where we're up to. And we've actually got it all buttoned back up again. We hope the timing is in the right place. Problem is you have to reassemble so much before you can run the engine. But it still feels like a bit of a leap of faith, but I've given it a few turns over. Nothing has hit anything else. I haven't quite finished off this because we haven't got belts. So we've got nothing powering the alternator or water pump at the moment, or power steering, but that doesn't matter. This is literally just a test run. But I think the moment approach F might be easier to start the engine if we hook the battery back up.
That would definitely help.
That would definitely help.
Is that connector connected?
You just reminded me there's a little loom down here that's not connected at the moment. That one goes down there. There we go. And then that connects somewhere as well. So a fun game of where did that connect. Okay, as I thought, I think it's the temperature sender or oil pressure, one of the two, just down there. That's all connected up. Our little harness is back up. We haven't actually lost any coolant, so that should be all right. So, do you want to turn the key?
What am I turning it to?
Well, to the start position.
To the start position.
And hopefully it won't sound absolute cack. That sounds very much like it should do. Usual just a second or two of clatter before the hydraulic tappets fire into life. Sounds a bit weird because we haven't got the belt, so it's much quieter than normal. Phew! I think we can consider that a success. Now we need to get some new belts so we can actually make it work. So we shall go and get belts, probably Monday. It's late on Saturday now. My assistant is doing the wheel nuts up at the moment. So yeah, if you're doing that job, water pump could be problematic because it's kind of only a bit of it is designed to be user serviceable. Not ideal. And the other thing we ended up doing was taking the starter motor out just so we could use the flywheel to lock the engine, so we could do the crank bolt. But other than that, it's gone remarkably well. It's just taken way longer than I really wanted because it's standard, and involved a bit more swearing because access not always brilliant. Getting to the starter motor bolts, as I well remember from the charade, bit of a pain, but nonetheless important progress has been made. So until Monday. Well, it is now Monday and I'm trying to get the job finished. One issue though, this is apparently quite an unusual belt size, the 4PK718. All I could get locally, and by locally I mean like 20 miles away, was a 4PK725, which is a little bit too long, but I think we'll be all right. I think there's enough adjustment in the alternator to make that belt work. I've got it trial fitted at the moment. I now need to get the tension on the alternator, which is going to be fun because the alternator is down there. That's actually the water pump pulley. You can see, you can just see one behind it. That is the alternator. So once again, fun placement. Not entirely sure how I'm going to do this. I may have to jack it up and get the wheel off again just to get some access through the arch, but really there just isn't any access. Ah yes, access is so much better now. There is the alternator. Can you see it? Oh, I can't. It's behind this inner wing panel, which is sadly attached, although it is a little bit bendable and very sharp. So wish me luck. That is one of those jobs, just horrible. But nonetheless, the belt is fitted. Neutral check. And we'll start Desmond up and see what it sounds like. Interesting to see what it sounds like. We still haven't got the power steering belt on. This is just the alternator belt. Sounds nice and peaceful. Which would suggest that the horrible whine Desmond has was either that very tired belt or it's the power steering pump. Because I can't get another 3PK515 locally, it just isn't starting. I mean, look at it, it's dinky tiny. I'm going to have to reuse this one, but it does look all right. I've got no cracking or anything on the inside of the belt. So I've not got any great qualms about reusing it, but we will order up a replacement. At least this is the outer belt. So if we have to change this at a later point, no big deal. Okay, and there with the power steering pump connected up. That sounds a bit more like Desmond's usual whine is back. Sounds nice and peaceful. Seems like the whine is just the power steering pump. Plenty of fluid. I say that, it's a little bit down. But the little whisper sound we had going on before, which was the alternator belt dying, seems to have gone. So I've just got to refit the induction pipe, which stops it sucking hot air off the engine and pulls it from here at the front. And we're good to go. In fact, I can do that now. Let's go and grab it. Betty, have you still got the big pipe? Yes, why are you using me as a table? I was the fleet favourite, you know. Yes, well, you drink too much, Betty. So that just goes on there. There we go. And then it hooks in on there. And that means we've completed the job. And it's an especially satisfying job and a very unusual job on Hubnut because A, it has gone mostly well. It's been a bit of a pain getting to some of the bolts, but compared to a Smart, I guess it's nothing at all. And we've got no bolts left over, which means every bolt I took out has gone back in. A most strange feeling. We didn't manage to change the water pump, but yeah, I guess you can't have everything. So I think I'm going to rearrange everything. I think we'll take Desmond home and put some miles on, because Bella, the Berlingo, who's also going to Rustival, has a wheel bearing going down. So let's try and minimise use before we go away, eh? Desmond hopefully going to be all right. But sounds good. Put some miles on just to make sure everything is a-okay. Maybe we should do it now. We can load him up, can't we? Let's put on some lights and the heater. And heated rear window. Oh, that's loading little Desmond up. Sounds good. We've definitely got that whine back, which weirdly seems to get worse with the electric load turned up. Very strange. Turn all the lights off again. It's definitely a little less pronounced, isn't it? Oh well, top up the screen wash while we're in it, because I've noticed that slow. So yeah, check all fluids and we'll be off on our way. This isn't quite where we're going to end this one though, because I need to revert to the story of what isn't here. You join me for a somewhat poignant moment, because is this goodbye for Myrtle the Matiz? At the time of recording, I don't know yet. What's going to happen is on Saturday, which is a few days' time, my friend Simon is taking Myrtle away on a bit of a trial. And we're going to see how it goes, but if he likes Myrtle, Myrtle will be going, and this is a major moment. I'll remind you that I owned Myrtle and Matiz the first time round when I bought Ellie the 2CV. They were side by side for a while, and we're being joined by a very chatty cat. Hello. Oh really? Really? You've got an awful lot to say. I'm afraid I've got nothing for you, but maybe you could find a mouse. You interested in a mouse? No? Okay, great. But, yes, yeah, it's alright, I'll catch you later. To get back to the point, it could be goodbye to Myrtle and Matiz. And this has been brewing for a while, because poor Myrtle has been typically sat up the back of the unit. Gorgeous evening, finally got some nice weather. She's been sat up the back of the unit, not being used, and there's a reason for that, and the reason is I don't like driving Myrtle the Matiz anymore. I think some of that is my fault. I think she really needs a bit of an overhaul, really, and some improvements, but fundamentally she's a tiny little city car. And I know I did a video a few years ago where I said, you know, it was very difficult to choose between this car and Shemi the Charade buried up the back there, the latest victim. But in truth, Shemi the Charade is much more like a car and is much more pleasant to cover mileage in than poor Myrtle here. I mean, it's a 796cc city car. It is not really the car for around here. And while, you know, ultimately a better car than Ellie the 2CV in many ways, comfort, not a strong suit. So, yeah, Myrtle is going to go, and that's been a really difficult decision. As I said, I bought this car in 1999. It was July, because if I'd waited till August, I could have had her on a V plate. But she's on a T plate. She's still got the rear speakers I fitted myself. I hacked the parcel shelf to bits to fit those rear speakers. So that's history. Yeah. We covered about 18,000 miles together the first time around in about 18 months. Whereas second time around, I've now owned her since 2018, and I think we've only done about 4,000 miles. That's not encouraging, is it? I mean, this pair here, that is small fry for Betty the Ford Fairmont and Bella the Berlingo, both of whom have done about 20,000 miles in my ownership now. I think Betty's probably slightly more. Of course, I've owned her twice, that may be cheating. So fundamentally, that is a problem. Shemi the Charade up the back there has done more than 4,000 miles this year. And for quite a lot of this year, she's been sat there up the back. So that tells a story, really. So there comes a point where nostalgia just isn't enough. I think if I had perfect storage, then maybe I'd keep her, but I don't. She was off the road all of last year and a bit of the year before, I think, during which time the brake pipes just rotted out. And yeah, she had a catastrophic MOT failure back in January, I think it was, might have been February. And got that fixed, got her back on the road, didn't even get through 1 tank of fuel. Again, that's a bit of a sign. So while there is so much nostalgia in this car, I think it's time for her to go. But like I say, I'm recording this moment, we're days away, so she's going to disappear, and then we'll see what happens. I even fitted these extra blind spot mirrors back in the day, back in 1999. How cool was I, the 21-year-old who fit blind spot mirrors? Dearie me. But yeah, we've just had perhaps our final RAS together, now on 95,000 miles rather than the 18,000 when I parted with her first time. But there's no reason she can't come back again at some point. It may happen. The cat is shouting at me from a different angle now. It could happen, but I don't know. But this is all very spur of the moment, which is why I haven't got the microphone with me. I wasn't planning on making a video. I just came up here because I just fancied some unit time. Sometimes a bloke just needs to go and hide in his shed for a bit, and it's just one of those moments where the weather is finally lovely. Actually feels nice to be here. Will you stop shouting? Go on, stop shouting. Off you go, find a mouse. What do you mean you don't like mice? It's the shoutiest cat I've ever known. There's always different cats floating around here, it seems. But yeah, that's it. Could it be the end of Myrtle? We shall see. I might film her going away on Saturday, and then who knows where she'll crop up next. So this is it. This is Myrtle going off for assessment. Our friend Simon getting used to the slightly unusual clutch, driving past a Korean digger fittingly, and yeah, that's Myrtle away. Weird feeling, isn't it? A weird feeling, Ellie? So there you go, Myrtle has gone. I'm still wearing the t-shirt. We do actually still have these available with a mildly modified woo at the Hubnut store, so this could be your last chance to get one. Myrtle has gone. Now I don't know if it's going to be permanent yet. She's effectively on trial with Simon, but he seems to be absolutely loving having Myrtle. He's already cleaned up the interior. He's starting some improvement work, so I think she's in the right place, and we've had some real luck. Davey has now got the Smart, and he's absolutely loving that, and I believe his wife is also loving the Smart. Chris bought Giselle. Giselle will be at Rustival. In fact, the Smart will be at Rustival, so it'll be a little bit of a reunion. It should be good fun. But sometimes you have to make the hard call. I'm dangerously close to becoming a hoarder, and I simply don't have the space or the money to do that. We've got cars coming out of our ears at the moment. That needs to change. It will be changing. But yeah, deciding what comes to the chopping block is not an easy decision. But that's as true for you and many other people out there as it is for me. We don't all have limitless funds, limitless space. I'm very fortunate to have the space I do. And the income I do, but that income is not enough to justify having that many cars. Very easy when you're a YouTuber to fall into that trap that cars are content, so I better have more cars. Yeah, if you've got a £1 million budget, maybe, but no, very, very long way from it. So that was the call. And I think it's quite likely that move will become permanent, and it will be goodbye Myrtle. Obviously, I've requested first refusal on that one. It is a special car, but I think I'm doing the right thing for the car, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like the best thing for myself. But I think it actually is the best thing for myself, because it was, you know, tearing me apart having that little car just set up the back, not being used. There's no point having a car as a souvenir piece if it's just sitting there not being used. Well, this is awkward. No, I've got no plans to get rid of Betty, but I'm not saying never. Let's put it that way. Pretty hard to sell in the UK, although fuel prices are coming down. For how long is anyone's guess. So yeah, Myrtle is away. It's likely to be permanent. I'm sure she will be seen at shows again. She'll still be living in Wales, just about. But yeah, I think sometimes the hard decisions need to be made. We had to say goodbye to Foxanne as well, gone down to Nino, and yeah, sometimes you just have to say, hopefully that's the right thing to do. It's a bit like releasing a child into the wild, I suppose. You don't know what's going to occur, but you hope it'll be all right, and mostly it seems to be. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Cambelt change on the Kenari. I'm very pleased with that, and my tinkering mojo has still been somewhat shaken, so to do a job successfully, a-okay, feeling good. And we shall see you in a future video. Farewell. I don't think I'm parting with that one.